What would you inquire of me, Commander? Just like your dragon self, everything is still up in the air.
Commander, a word in your ear. There seems to be a spot of trouble in one of the provinces. Some lizard rebel running amok. Naught but a trifle that Prospera has requested us to deal with. But she wants me and Bloody Edmund to go together. Yes, he's a lizard too, it stands to reason. But the man's as pleasant as a cactus down your trousers. So if you don't mind, I'll go alone. Practice? I'll be practicing skittles with his balls before the day is out. You know that cold-blooded cretin annoys me to no end. I'll follow your orders, Commander. But we're supposed to quell an uprising, you know, not add fuel to the fire.
I hope you don't mind, Commander, but I'm sure Henry and... What a pair Edmund and Henry make, Commander. Worry no longer. The insidious religion of the one god no longer tempts a single lizard in the realm. They either pay homage to the Seven, or have the good sense not to prattle on about gods at all.
We've returned from our mission, Commander. All's well among the lizards again. No more praise for the one god anymore, but proper prayer for the Seven, or whatever floats their boat. I was hoping for at least some resistance, so that I could spill a mite of their cold blood. But there was none to be had. Diplomacy, aka idle chatter, saved the day. Wasn't such a bad thing, looking back on it, that serpent of an Edmund tagged along. Obviously, we were plotting each other's demise from the get-go, but when push came to shove, we both wanted to appear the greater general, forced us to bring our A-game. Long story short, the cultists renounced their evil ways and were accepted back into society. Boring as fig stew. But Prospera's over the moon. She can stay there for all I care.
Never would I have expected the likes of Henry to wag such a silver tongue. There must be some brain cells left neath that simian cranium of his after all. Holding on for dear life, I expect.
Combat and carnage! Huzzah! You showed him, Commander.
Each night, it is written in the stars that the dragon will triumph come the dawn. Well done. It shall be my honor.
Commander, you know we elves sometimes stuff our pipes with a few Druidini leaves so as to experience its gentle, mind-altering effects. There are some that say its use should be outlawed, but I want to propose the exact opposite. Studies have shown this plant's medicinal use can do wonders to alleviate pain. So I think every doctor should be allowed to administer Druidini like any other remedy.
Both in sickness and in health, we recognize the judgment of the gods, Commander, as we do in convalescence and death. Interfering by means of medicine is already a sin. Adding the use of vile narcotics to the equation merely aggravates the misdeed.
What is it with the elves and their damnable love for hallucinogenic leaves? I've seen those who use it, sitting around with bloodshot eyes, talking gibberish. Medicinal! Malicious, more like.
Commander, if Druidini truly possesses the qualities attributed to it by Oberon, and under responsible medical supervision it may be used to alleviate pain, well then of course I support the elven bid. It is only logical.
Our studies show Oberon is correct, Commander. Sure, it took our researchers a very long time to write down their results, which they did in the weirdest of phrases, and for some reason they et and et and et. But one simply cannot dismiss their deductions.
Commander, a most grave and ignominious matter has come to my attention. Some dwarven quack, styling himself a scientist, claims he has found conclusive proof that we lizards, and some form of degenerate aquatic orc, are descendant of one and the same ancestor. He means to publish this rot in the Rivellon Scientific Gazette, thereby causing irreparable damage to our species' reputation. With the utmost insistence, I therefore urge you to halt this publication. And if the matter of censorship bothers you, think nothing of it. By blocking the printing of this inane nonsense, you're safeguarding not only the good standing of all lizards, but of the illustrious Gazette as well. A dwarven scholar? Really? The very notion is ludicrous. Yes, well, I have a few words I've been saving for just such an occasion. He'll recant his aberrant ideas about evolutional origins, unless he wants me to teach him a thing or two about extinction.
Edmund seems to be in a mood fouler than an ogre's abattoir. We were just trading routine insults when I said, "Your grandmother was an orc," and immediately he tried to get his bloody hands round my throat. Madcap lizard. Who gets so upset over such a childish taunt?
Well, Commander, I must admit I was, well, not wrong, but a tad less correct than I could have been about Dahl's Charwin White Whiskers, the dwarven scientist whose findings riled me so. As it would turn out, his article was far from complete, but the Rivellon Scientific Gazette wanted to publish it nonetheless, so as to make an ill portrayal of us lizards. The chief editor is some exasperating elf, apparently, who was once outwitted by a lizard in a business deal. Of course he was. The researcher's true findings, though, are quite interesting to say the least. The ancestor theory seems likely, but somewhere down the road a complete split was made, wherein all that was strong and shrewd flowed to our line, and all that was backward and bland was left to the orcs. His work is a celebration of lizard triumph in the course of evolution. I have seen to it. It will be published the realm round. There we have it. A dwarven scholar worth his salt. I'd thought it as likely as Henry showing a display of wit. But I was mistaken, and that is a phenomenon less frequent than a snowstorm in the deserts of youthful Gaul.
Edmund is of a very rare sunshiny disposition today, Commander. Gives me the shivers when he bids me good day instead of offering me his normal stare. You know, the one as if he's looking upon an accident left on the carpet by someone's dog.
A defeat happens to the best of us.
Commander, I'd like to address some issues I have with the Rivlon Times. Now, I know the press will try to embellish stories to make for more savory reading material. But half the stuff they print nowadays is fabricated nonsense of an almost always sensational or slanderous nature. I want you to reprimand them, Commander. I want it to be known that from now on they must either publish the truth or else publish no longer.
The Rivlon Times is no more than a daily dose of heresy for those that sinfully partake. Rather than admonish, you should abolish the thing altogether, Commander.
I couldn't agree with Prospero more, Commander. The Rivlon Times journalists aren't simple fact-finders. No, they ferret for filth. Ever since I've become a counselor aboard the Raven, I've discovered dwarven newspapermen under my bed on no less than 3 separate occasions. And one I caught climbing through the bathroom window.
The Rivlon Times is a dwarven and therefore commercial enterprise, Commander. Juicy stories sell copies. That is simplicity itself. I categorically deny, by the way, that our editors spread lies. Or at the very least, spread lies on purpose. So, if a chambermaid divulges to us a minister of the crown likes to spank his mistress in the bedroom, and this later turns out to be untrue, she is at fault, not we, for having printed her tale.
I see no imp interest in this matter at all, Commander. I'll just flip a coin then. Heads means yes, tail means no. And heads. Yeah, go ahead and reprimand them.
I thank you, Commander. To inform the general public of the events of the Empire is a great responsibility, not a lackadaisical frivolity. The dwarves would do well to take this duty a bit more seriously, and their caricaturist especially could stand to be a bit more sensitive.
To be honest, Commander, I had expected more of Old Man Charwin. One has but to look at lizards to see whether they be distant relatives of orcs or not. Some great-great-great-grandmother of theirs romanced a snail at some point. Silly creatures.